Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you the Battlegroup preview for the 1st SS-Panzer division, also known as the Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler. And this is a division that I think has been quite anticipated since Steel Division came out, and now is finally here for free in the First Blood DLC update. So make sure you go check it out if you haven't already. But in this one, like I said before, it is a preview, not an overview. So I'm just going to be briefly brushing over all of the units that are available, looking at some of the new units, and talking about how the division I think is going to play since it's been released. So let's start off in the Recon Tab. The Recon Tab is very similar to the 1st Infantry that we covered previously. It lacks recon throughout most phases. So in Phase A, you are limited to 2 Aufklärer with these SPW 222s. Keeping these alive, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important things you want to be doing with the 1st SS-Panzer. They come with these 2 222s that are 2-star, which are really good fire support against enemy infantry. But yeah, keeping the Aufklärer alive and making sure you don't go blind is something that is going to be important throughout the entire game, and you're going to want to make sure that your recon is always in the place where you want to push, because you can't be liberal like you can with other divisions where you just have recon everywhere. You have to focus it on where you want to push through. Now there is access to plenty of Pumas in the 1st SS Panzer, and yes, they are very cool. But did they find a place in my division at the moment? Probably not, as I like to rely on the Phase B and Phase C Speedtroop. Again, the fact that they have veterancy doesn't really affect the troops themselves. It affects the half-track in terms of its use, as the Speedtroop will probably be remaining hidden for the most part since their low availability. But that's pretty much your Recon Tab. I would say focus on the infantry over the Pumas. You can find the AP elsewhere. Moving into the infantry tab, this is where things get interesting. The 1st SS Panzer is a division, a panzer division, that has an overwhelming amount of infantry availability. You can see in Phase A I have the Pioneer Führers here. These are only 2 availability with 2-star veterancy, but that 2-star veterancy does give them a big command radius, so that's fantastic. They're going to be backed up, however, by the 2 cards of SS Volksdeutsche, which are pretty much exactly the same as Panzer Grenadiers, except from they are disheartened. And since they are disheartened, they cost 10 points less. But this is in fact probably a good thing, since their availability is just so damn good, yet they can still put out a lot of firepower. So these Volksdeutsche definitely going to be a choice throughout pretty much every phase when you can get them, since they're cheap Panzer Grand squads, more or less. Now also in Phase A, I choose 2 MG42 cards, 3 in each with 2-star veterancy. These guys can rip to shreds infantry at range and really cause like an area of denial to sort of light armored vehicles and infantry alike. So MG42s, fantastic. And the fact you get a nice amount of them on the cards at 2-star veterancy is perfect. Stone Pioneers just lack the availability, same with the Panzer Grands, but still there as a choice if you fancy taking them. Moving into Phase B, Panzergrenführer are around. These guys have their AT there, but honestly, due to the limited number of activation slots that you have, I don't find space for another set of command infantry. Instead, I am bringing in 1 card of the SS Stosstroop. Unlike other Stosstroop, these guys have the MP44, and this gives them 8 HE at 200 meter range, which isn't a significant HE in comparison to the Stosstroop at 100 meter range that you're used to, but still is a very versatile sort of gun to have. And then they have the utility that the other Stosstroop have, the Panzerfaust and the smoke grenades. So an interesting squad. They come in at the 2-star veterancy, and in general are just pretty solid units for ambushing and maybe taking on lighter HE units. But they don't quite have the same bang at close range that other Stosstroop squads have, so be wary of that. Now, the other beautiful thing about these squads is they do have a 2-star half track they come in, which can provide you some nice fire support. Now, the other choices for Phase B are Pioneers and Panzergrens. Limited availability kind of makes me step away from them, especially considering as when you jump into Phase C, you can get 2 more cards of Volksdeutsche at 8 apiece. Yes, they still lack the veterancy and are disheartened, but the amount of them you can get and their usefulness cannot be understated. Other choices in Phase C are the Pioneers and Panzergrens and some Panzergrenführers in the 250-110. But again, limited availability kind of makes them less of a choice than these Volksdeutsche that sort of do a similar thing to the Panzergrens, but cost less to bring in. And that is the primary reason that Volksdeutsche are definitely going to be seen a lot in this division. So that's my suggestions for the infantry tab anyway. Moving over to the tank tab, you have no Phase A tanks. That is something that is apparent when you first look at this division. So let's just jump straight into Phase B. Panzer IV-Hs, I've always preferred them to Panzer IV-Js, but if you like Panzer IV-J, you can get them at 2-star veterancy, and that will allow you to take on ranged engagements very well. A closer range though, Panzer IV-H definitely preferred due to its faster aiming time. There's also access to Befehl Stug as Stug 3s. These have 2-star veterancy, so they have quite a large command radius, but not something I would really want to rely upon for my command if I can help it. Their mobility is definitely lacking, and I find they would just get caught out in Phase B. Now, other choices in Phase B are the Panther Gs, and these things are absolutely beast for this phase. Probably one of the best tanks, other than say a King Tiger, that you can get in the entire game. This is a Panther G with the increased aim time, or actually shortened aim time, I guess. They have a better aim time than the Panther Ds, and they have more front armor than a Panther D. So a brilliant addition to the division in Phase B. Moving into Phase C, more Panzer IV-Js available, more Panzer IV-Hs. You can also get Panther Ds at 200 points a pop. Now, in my opinion, not really worth it. Panther Ds are still Panther Ds at the end of the day. They suffer from the lack of the quick aim compared to the Panther G. So, still going to be sitting ducks in the late phases, but are affordable with the 130 points per minute. So it might be something you could consider if you can find the extra activation slots. But in my opinion, just a Befehl Panther to maybe accompany your Panther Gs is a nice choice for Phase C, since these Panzer IVs will generally do most of the heavy lifting and suit your income quite well. Moving into the Sport tab. The Sport tab's nothing new really. You get 2 3.2s in Phase A, Flam Panzers with the 250-116s. You've got the IG-18s available. The only difference about these IG-18s though is they come with a 250-1 half track, which is actually a really nice combination. You have the ability to get these into the place you want them exactly without having to have them like unload early and get caught out in the open. Like, the beauty of having forces coming in half tracks and stuff is that they don't auto unload under fire like say an Opel Blitz would or a DMA. So this is a really nice combination actually, and it's only for like another 15 points. You can also get the Grille in Phase A. Not something I'd recommend. I've never really relied on these very much. In Phase B, it's time for your supply to arrive, so the Opel Blitz munition is my choice there. More IG-18s and 251s are available. More Flampanzers are available as well. In Phase C, you've got the 259 and the Opel Blitz munitions. More of those available. But there isn't too much artillery in my division, so I don't feel like they're always necessary. But these Flampanzers definitely can make a big difference. So they're necessary. 232. Extra command in Phase A with the 20mm autocannon unit. Very nice indeed. Let's move on to the anti-tank tab. So the anti-tank tab is another interesting part of the 1st SS Panzer. They have Stug 3s in their anti-tank tab. No AT guns. So I think it would be very silly not to bring all of the Stug 3s early on, since you don't have any tanks available in the tank tab in Phase A. So these Panzerjäger Stug 3s kind of make up for that. They have the 14 AP, 8 front armor's not the best, but these still can pack a punch, I think, and they are relatively cheap for what they offer. So that's my choice for Phase A. In Phase B, pack 40s all the way. You got the 1-star ones, the 2-star ones. You don't need the Panzerjäger Stug Gs because you have Panther Gs and Befehl Panthers with Panzer 4s. So these Panzerjäger Stug 3s kind of become a bit redundant. However, I could see why people would opt to maybe bring in the Panzerschreck squads, since it gives you the very good stealth squads that can come in handy. Moving on to the anti-air tab. In Phase A, this is the best unit that you can get by far. The 2 SDKF Z72s with the 37mm cannon on the back. That thing will do all the work for you with the 1-star veterancy. The Flak 38s that can be brought in the 251-17s don't quite have the same punch as the Flak 36 because they lack the range and especially the veterancy. If these guys were 2-star veterancy combinations of both the Flak 38 and the 251-17, then I'd probably take them, because that combination is extremely strong with the Gepards and the Flak 38s in the 2nd Panzer. But in this case, probably not so much. Moving into Phase B, Gepards are great since they come in at 2-star veterancy. Same deal in Phase C. Flak 41s are also a choice if you fancy them. Let's move into the artillery tab. So the artillery for me is just a choice of the 257s in Phase A. Bringing both of these, they are 2-star veterancy. Very nice mortars indeed. Moving into Phase B, there's plenty of choice. You got the Vesper, the Nebelwerfers, more mortar half-tracks if you want them, the LAFH 18Ms, and also the BEO Panzer 4H. So you got loads of choice. What you take is up to you in terms of preference. Some people like Nebelwerfers, some people like longer range artillery, but I would probably never recommend taking the LAFH 18Ms over the Vespers, since the Vespers just have that much more survivability and yeah, it just stops you from being counter-batteried so easily. So yeah, that's pretty much Phase B. Phase C, you can get SK-18s, you can get Hummels. The heavy artillery comes into play for sure. Beauty of the SK-18s, of course, being their 4,000 meter range. Hummels being their 27HE at 2,800 meter range. It's up to you if you want to bring them. Personally, I find that the artillery that I have is more than adequate for the way that I play with this division. Moving on to the air tab. Air tab has a lot of choice as well. In Phase A, you can get the Focke-Wulf 190 A8 2-star. I think this is pretty important for controlling the skies early on, especially in combination with your 2 SDKF Z72s. You can get a lot of kills with a 2-star Focke-Wulf 190, that's for sure. Ju-87G, very important vehicle as well for taking out things that might cause you trouble, especially things like AVREs and 15 front armor vehicles from the Scots. So that's why I'm going to be bringing in this Ju-87G in Phase A. You can get a second one if you want it. It is there as an option. In Phase B, another Focke-Wulf 190A8 available, same in Phase C. Lack of availability on the cards, honestly. But that's just something you've got to work around. HS-129B1 is available. Ju-188s with the 30 HE power bombs are also available. You can get one of those in Phase B, or you can get two on a card in Phase C. In Phase C, you also have access to the HS-129B3s. Sorting out your air tab, definitely preference for the most part, but in my opinion, taking at least these Focke-Wulf 190s in A and B is necessary for sure. Finding the slots or activation points elsewhere to fill the slots will be up to you guys. And that's pretty much it. So, not too many new units as such in the first SS Panzer in comparison to the first Infantry Big Red one. But definitely an interesting style of division. You got a limited amount of recon that you're definitely going to want to keep alive as best you can. Early on, you're going to be relying on these Panzerjäger Stugs quite a lot. You're going to have quite nice fire support though in the form of the 257s. And you've also got quite a decent capability putting down pressure at close range with the Flampanzers. Volksdeutsche will pretty much cover the front line for you as long as you need in Phase A. And if you're relying on those MG42s, you can contain places where things go wrong. IG-18 is also great for doing that. Moving into Phase B, that's where your power really picks up. And I think if you set yourself up well in Phase A, your Phase B can be extremely strong, supported by multiple Panzer IVHs. You might even manage to get yourself in a Panther G on top of that. Then you got all of the AA to back it up. You've got Pak 40s to secure positions. There's just a lot of potential for this division to get seriously rolling in Phase B. And then in Phase C, you just top it off with whatever you need. And that's pretty much your lot. So that's just my general first thoughts on the first SS Panzer. Quick preview for you there, guys. Remember, later down the line, as the DLC has been out for a while, I will come back to it for a full Battlegroup overview with more comprehensive and I guess more solid suggestions on the division and where I think it can be optimized and stuff. But for now, yeah, general quick look. Make sure you go check it out, guys, yourself. Of course, it is a free update, so if you own the game, feel free to jump in and try it out. But that's all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.